Hi everyone, it's Melissa, also known as Stitcher Mel on Instagram, and I'm back. It has been 15 months and a day since my last FlossTube video. A lot has happened in that time. We have been going through, of course, the global pandemic for COVID-19, and then I think it was either 2 or 3 days, something like that, after my last FlossTube video, I got the call that my dad was going into hospice. He had been battling cancer for 2 or 3 years, and he actually passed away 1 year ago today, which is just coincidence with me recording this video today. I did not initially plan that, but it just so happened that I was finally ready to record a FlossTube again, and it just so happened to fall on the 1 year anniversary of his death. It was really, really hard. Obviously, having a death in the family during a global pandemic makes things very challenging. The hardest part to me to deal with emotionally was the fact that he passed alone in the hospital because none of the family were allowed to be in the room, because of COVID concerns. And you just don't like to think about a loved one passing away alone. And so, yeah, it was hard. But anyway, but yeah, between the pandemic and getting used to working from home, I am still working from home full time. We have not returned to the office, and I may very well be segueing into working from home permanently. So that's nice. In the past, I had nearly an 1.5 to 2 hour commute every day in LA traffic, and I would welcome not having to deal with that because that gives me a lot more time for cross stitching. And so, yeah, but between all those things, FlossTube just kind of went farther down the priority list in my life. But I'm ready to do it again. I'm back. Yay! So a little housekeeping. First things first. Yes, if you're looking at my mouth and wondering, is she missing a tooth? Well, yes, I am. It's been out for about a month. I'm in the process of having some major dental work done, and sadly that included an extraction and a bone graft, and I am likely going to need a second bone graft, in fact, before they can do the implant. So I have learned in this process, I am a diabetic, and I've learned in this process that bone loss in one's mouth is pretty common for diabetics apparently. And so, yeah, that's what I've been going through is, and I've got another tooth that may end up the same thing having to happen. So, but it's not more in the front of my mouth, thankfully. It's in the back, so it won't be visible when I'm recording. But anyway, so yeah, got that out of the way. I keep looking off camera. I am sorry. I don't know why. I think it's just a little weird to me seeing myself in frame again. So what's up? What's next? I didn't make notes. I should have made notes for the first time back. I'm not going to try and cover everything I've done stitching wise in the past 15 months. Just not going to happen. And I will forewarn that this video is going to probably have, like, we'll call it a haul parade for the lack of a better word. Because I have a lot of haul. And the haul I'm going to share is only things I've bought since Expo. So in the last 2 months. But there's a lot of it, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, because I'm going to love stitching all of it, but it's going to take a while to go through all of it. I'm looking over here because that's where it's sitting right now. And then as far as whips, I'm just going to cover what I've done in May. I am participating in my own version of Stitch Maynia, and I decided to do a sampler mania. So I have been working on samplers all month, and my initial plan was to work on one piece Monday through Friday, and then a second piece on the weekend, on Saturday and Sunday. I have modified that a little bit here and there, but the initial plan was to work on 9 samplers, and I think when it's all said and done, I'm probably going to have worked on 12. because I did get in a couple of finishes before the end of their rotation came up. And so I would just slip something else in to take up that space. So we'll go over that. And then I'll talk about the plans for this last, today is the 23rd. So this last full week of Mania. Okay. WIPs. So these are the things I have worked on in May. The first one, this was what I started for the Blackbird Weekend Sale, and it was a new start for me. This is Midnight Ride by Blackbird Designs. I am stitching this on, I can't remember if it's 32 or 36. Let's see what it called for. It called for 32, so I'm doing it on called for 30. I'm doing it on 32 because the fabric it called for I don't think is available anymore. Or it's either not available or Janine at Acorns and Threads didn't have it because she's the one who helped me pick out the alternate fabric. This is Salt Marsh fabric. But yeah, so I got most of the bird done. The only thing I have left to do is fill in the orange on his hat and scarf, and he will be done. And then all I'll have after that will be the alphabet. So I'm really hoping, I did all this in 2 days, so I'm hoping I can finish it in the June edition of the Blackbird Weekend Sale. That's my goal. And I really feel like that's doable. So, oh, I'm sorry, I still have the broom. But I still feel like all of that is a lot less stitching than what I did in the May weekend. So, yeah. And I'm sorry, I don't press things before I do my videos. Yeah. In fact, when I finish things, I don't press them. I don't press things until I FFO them. So, yeah. So, if that bothers you, I'm sorry. But life is too short to iron things 53 times. So, yeah. Okay, and I am using the called for fibers on those, which is Gentle Arts Onyx, Fragrant Cloves, and Garden Gate. And the Garden Gate, thankfully, I'm done with because, as you can see, that's just about gone. I have one strand left, and that's what the bird was stitched in. So then, yeah. So that is Midnight Ride. Then, so that was the first and the second. And then on the Monday through Thursday planner, I worked on Jessie Watson from Hands Across the Sea. And this is for the Jessie Watson Autism Sale, which, as I mentioned, was started by Barbara of at Raspberry Stitcher on Instagram and Raspberry Stitcher FlossTube channel. And I love this piece. It was so hard to put down because I was having so much fun stitching it. But yeah, here's my start on that. And I am stitching this on 36 count Winter Moon linen. Yep, love that. And again, I'm using Vicki Clayton silks for this piece. And they're absolutely beautiful. Let me show you those. Aren't those beautiful? This is my first set of Vicki's silks that I've purchased since she started dyeing again. I was really sad back in the day when she stopped dyeing because I actually absolutely loved her silks and used them for quite a few projects. And so, yeah, so when I bought this, I also bought the silks for Ink Circle's Growth Rings. I haven't started it though, but yeah. So you'll see that at some point in the future. So then, since I finished part 2 of that sale on Thursday, and I wasn't scheduled to rotate until Friday, I picked up another piece that was not in my original plan, I don't think. Or maybe it was, and I just started it earlier than scheduled, but I started this one and finished it in just a couple of days. Well, no, let me rephrase that. I had it started, but I picked it up and I worked on it for 2 days and got it finished. This is the Live Simply sampler from Jeanette Douglas Designs. This chart is available only in a class that is on Craftsy. It's called Beginner Cross Stitch, I think. And I actually have a Craftsy account and have for many years. And I had downloaded this before they went under, but now they're back. And so this is available again. And I don't know if they still are or not, but I noticed, I don't know, maybe 10 days ago when I had logged into my account, that they were offering it for like $4 for an entire year. So, I mean, that's worth it just to get this chart. Because I think I paid, I want to say $50 a year for my membership. So, but at the time I got it, I bought it more for paper crafting. I used to be a paper crafter. I say I used to be a paper crafter because I recently made the decision to give up paper crafting and just stick with my needlework, because I just don't have the time or money to keep up with two expensive hobbies. And since stitching is my first love, I decided to stick with that. Oh, I forgot to show you, there is a specialty stitch section on the version that I stitched. There's two versions. There's one that's just straight cross stitch. And so instead of having this specialty stitch section here, it has an alphabet. So if you don't want to do specialty stitches, that's an option for you as well. And there's even a little bit of beading here in the black work section. And that gorgeous overdyed fiber you're seeing, that is Cotswold Garden, which is, oh, what company? Where is it? That is a Gloriana. And it's absolutely gorgeous. And then most of the rest of it is DMC. Oops. And then there are 3 Gentle Arts. Dried Time, which I know everyone is having trouble finding right now, so I'm kind of thankful I still have some. Peacock is this one, and Toasted Barley. So yeah, it's a really pretty sampler. And again, this is available exclusively on Craftsy. So this was my first finish for the month. Okay, so once I finished that piece, oh, in fact, I did just pull that one in early. I remember now, it wasn't my original plan. So that one was planned to be worked on Friday and Saturday, which would have been, let me check my calendar, what days of the month. That would have been, oh no, it wasn't on my plan. Yeah, so Jessie was scheduled for the 3rd through the 7th, but I only worked on it through the 6th. So then I picked up the Live Simply sampler for that extra day and a bit that I had. But by then I was so close to getting it finished that I continued working on it into Saturday so I could get it finished. And then what I had originally planned for that weekend was Count the Cups by Ardith Design, Amanda May. And so I picked this up on the 8th after I finished that one, and I got that one finished. So yeah, and so when I picked this one up, all I had done was this half of the chart. So then I did all of the rest of this on that Sunday, the 8th. And this is, oh, I forgot to tell you, I don't remember what fabric I'm stitching the Live Simply sampler on. This is 32 count Gold Rush Jobelin from Bestitch Me. I do remember that. And it is DMC 815. Yep. And it is in a beautiful bag I got for Christmas. My best friend, Tracy, who is Tracy Stitches here on FlossTube and Wow Princess on Instagram, her mother made this for me for Christmas. Thank you, Anita. And many of you may recognize Anita's name. She's anita.f.griffin on Instagram. And because Tracy and I both stitch, she kind of got introduced to the world of FlossTube because we both do FlossTubes. And she follows a lot of stitchers on Instagram. So if you ever see Anita Griffin liking your stuff, she is not a stitcher. She is a hand quilter. She completely does everything by hand. She pieces by hand. She quilts by hand. They're gorgeous. But yeah, she follows a lot of FlossTubers on Instagram and stitchers on FlossTubers on YouTube and stitchers on Instagram. So yeah. Okay, so that takes care of that one. So next up was on the 10th through the 14th, I had scheduled to work on Sally Spencer from Birds of a Feather. And I'm doing that as a Sal with Tracy, my bestie. And so we are calling that the Sally Spencer BFF Sal. Oh, wait, where's my, okay, I had them out of order. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't have them out of order. I pulled in another project along the way because I finished Count the Cups early enough on Sunday that I still had stitching time. And so rather than pulling in my next piece early, I decided to pull out one of my Whipco pieces. And so this is Sunnyside Sampler from the Drawn Thread. Love that. It's all done in silks. And I bought the kit on their website. And let's see, what fabric is this? It's not on that page. And it's not on that page. And I'm missing work pages for my working copy. I don't know what I've done with them. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I don't remember what fabric this is. It's just some sort of general, generic. It's a neutral of some sort. It may just be natural raw. But I finished this house that day. All I had done before, let's see if I can fold this around a little better. There we go. All I had done before was the roof and the white outlines of the windows. And a bit of the blue, kind of blue-gray here of the house. So, but I finished all that. I finished filling in the house, and then I put in the trees. And I also put in this little bush because I hadn't done it yet either. So while I was doing these trees, I just went on and finished. Oh, actually, I don't think I had either bush done now that I think about it. So while I was doing these trees, I added these bushes as well. So, yeah. So that is 2 of the houses done. Yep. This was a new release for them. Does it have a date on the chart? Oh, yeah, I don't have the whole chart, so maybe not. But this is a fairly recent release in the last 2 or 3 years. And again, they have the full kit available on their website. So that was the Drawn Thread. So then we got to the 10th of the 14th, which was Sally Spencer. And all of these are just my working copies for the most part. I think the only original I've shown you so far is Midnight Ride. But yeah, I have ownership of all these charts, let me assure you. So yeah. So this is Birds of a Feather, Sally Spencer. This is long since out of print. So, but still very popular and very hard to find. And was lucky enough to get one for a reasonable price on eBay. I am stitching this on also 32 count Gold Rush. Let me get my, I have my needle minder on here still. So this is where I am on this one. And the fabric is showing up more brown on the camera, but it definitely has a gold tone to it in person. I did make one switch on it. It calls for buttermilk Gentle Arts, which you can see on that flower. It very much gets lost almost on my fabric. So what I did, and I was okay with that happening in the little flowers and stuff on the border, but I didn't want it happening in the alphabet. So what I did instead, in the bird, you can see it has this kind of melon color in that little flower. So I used that color instead for all the letters that were supposed to be stitched in the buttermilk, just so that they would show up a little better. And that is Melon Patch. So Sally was originally scheduled for the 10th to the 14th, but I forgot when I made my schedule about Dark 13 stitching. So I put Sally away. I keep looking over here and the camera's over here. I will try and do better, guys. I'm sorry. So anyway, on the 13th, I pulled out the Spooked Mystery Sampler by Lizzie Kate, which is my Dark 13 project I'm working on this year. Oh, and there's another original. And so I am stitching this on 28 count Ale, which I believe is the called for fabric. I'm not going to open up the chart to see, but so I worked on this. I was getting so close to a finish. I wanted to just keep going with it. So I worked on this on the 13th through the morning of the 15th, and I did get it finished. And as I was talking about earlier, I am counting this as a finish for the year because these are charted individually, and I'm using all the called for fibers. So even though I'm stitching this as one big sampler, it will technically be 3 finishes for me throughout the year, because when things are charted as individual charts like this, I count each individual chart as a finish. And I do have the embellishment kit. And I realized after I finished that I forgot to leave spaces for the beads and the buttons and things. So, because the chart actually provides you with full stitching, so that if you don't have the embellishment pack or don't want to use it or don't want to, spend the money for it, because I think it was about $15, you can just stitch it. So even though I have it, I'm thinking now I may just not use them and I may just stitch it. So, because I think it looks pretty cute. I don't know that it necessarily needs the beads. I'll decide when I get to the end. Because I wouldn't add beads until I get to the end anyway, because I don't want them getting crushed in my Q-snaps. So that was Spooked. And so then next up was, for the 15th and the 16th, was Friendship Sampler by Threadworks Primitives. This chart is an exclusive to Tomorrow's Heirlooms, which is in the Chicago area, I believe. I think it's Glen Ellen, Illinois. And so after I finished Spooked on the 15th, I pulled this out and worked on this piece the rest of the weekend as scheduled. And this is, and I bought this as a full kit from Tomorrow's Heirlooms. And so it's stitched on 36 count oaken using all the called for fibers. And so I'm getting pretty close on this one as well. All I have left to do is put in the last couple of flowers, fill in the basket, and then there's like a little swag kind of thing here at the bottom. So yeah, I'm getting pretty close on that. And they do have the option when you order it that you can do 32 or 36 count, I believe, if memory serves. And they have options for the chart and the linen only, the chart and the threads only. I mean, they've got lots of different options. So if you just go to their website, which is, I'll link it below, but I think it's TOMHER, or maybe it is Tomorrow's Heirlooms. And I know they're Tom Air 2018 on Instagram. Anyway, so here are my fibers. It's Classic Colorworks and Weeks is the combination. But anyway, if you just Google Tomorrow's Heirlooms, they have in the top, they've got a bunch of different menu options, and there's one that says Threadwork Primitives Exclusive. And so that's what this is. Oh, and I am doing this as a SAL. This is the Friendship Sampler SAL with Brittany. I don't know how to say your last name. Is it Fruit? I don't know. It's not spelled like fruit, but it's similar. But we were doing this as a SAL together. Okay, so next, the 17th through the 21st, I had Jane Marshall. Oh, sorry, my nose is running. Allergy season. Oh. Jane Marshall, 1857, which is another Hands Across the Sea. This I purchased last year in early 2020 as a fundraiser for the horrific fires they were having in Australia. Nicola was making donations to a particular fire brigade that was hit especially hard. And so I purchased this as part of that. And I am doing the DMC conversion. And I still have this one on Q-Snaps actually. And she's getting really close to a finish as well. In fact, I thought I was going to finish her, but then I got distracted by something else, which we'll talk about in a minute. And that's actually a new little needle minder I got, I don't know, 10 days ago maybe, from Mad for Minders. I just thought this little vintage stitching girl would be perfect for Jane, because she stitched this when she was 10. Yeah. I really like this. This is on 40 count mallow from Zweigart. And I just use these, for the most part, use these mesh project bags from Amazon. I do have a few pretty project bags, but I mostly use the mesh ones. So this was my distraction that caused me to put Jane down. I think I worked on her through the 19th, Monday through Wednesday. And then because it was World Bee Day on Thursday, I started Bee Sampler from Leela's Studio. This I bought as a PDF chart from her Etsy shop, so I don't have a hard copy of it. And I am, it's called for, I think, weeks maybe. Hang on. 1 weeks and 2 Gentle Arts shaker threads, but I am doing the DMC conversion included with the chart. This one is also still on Q-Snap, so I'm having to tighten it up so you can see it. But this is my start on that. I actually got, get the needle out of the way. I got like about half of this done on the first day, and then just a tiny bit on Friday because I didn't stitch much on Friday. But then yesterday, this was the piece I worked on during the Quaker Zoom Sal, and I got almost all the way finished on this motif. So after the Zoom Sal was over, it was around 6 o'clock my time, West Coast. After I made dinner and settled in for the night to watch TV, I picked it back up and worked on it some more. And so I completely finished this motif and then got a good chunk of this one done. And this is the far right end of the sampler. So yeah. So I feel like I've got a good start on that. My adorable little bee needle minder, this is from A Needle Runs Through It on Etsy and Instagram. She is the woman who does the needle minders for the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. If you think it looks familiar, that's why. It's the same artist. So yeah. So that is Bee Sampler. And so I'm debating whether or not I'm going to continue working. I just loosened it, so it's, sorry. I'm debating whether or not I'm going to continue working on this today or if I'm going to pull in a new start, and I will talk about that when we get to haul. Because I feel like I've made good progress on it, and I do have something I really want to start. Okay, so that then gets me caught up to what I've worked on so far for the month. So for my actual documented plans for the rest of the month, I have 2 pieces left. My original plan was to work on Sarah Spencer from Hands Across the Sea for this week. And let's see, this is Sarah. And all 3 of these hats samplers I've shown are from their Little Gems collection, which you can download as a PDF on their website, which is nice. I mean, I don't generally like working from an original. I like having a working copy. So, I mean, that's great for me. I can just print out the working copy from the PDF. And I don't remember what I'm stitching this on. I think it's just a antique white Jobelin, or maybe cream. But that's my start on her. And I am again doing the DMC conversion on this one. I don't have anything against silks. I just opted to do the DMC. So, but again, I originally had planned on this for Monday through Friday of this coming week. And then for the Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, because May ends on the 31st, I had planned to work on the 2020 Linens and Threads mystery sampler. That's upside down. But I'm thinking now I might bump this up to the Monday through Friday spot because I still have a lot to do on Sarah Spencer. I know it's confusing because I have Sally Spencer as well. I apparently love the Spencer girls. I have a long way to go on that one. But on the Linens and Threads, I'm getting pretty close. So I'm thinking I'm going to swap those out and I'm going to work on the Linens and Threads Monday through Friday and hopefully get this piece finished. It would be nice to have it finished. So yeah, this is how close I am. So I have, let's see, 2 motifs in this spot. And then, let's see, put this back out. Yeah, so I need to do these 2 motifs, which were the December. And then I need to finish up November, which is this 1 motif. So I have 3. I said in the Quaker Zoom last night I thought I had 2, but I actually do have 3 motifs left. And then this one will be done. I am stitching this on 40 count mallow from Zweigart. And I am stitching it with Threadworks Bleeding Hearts. And that is, which I was introduced to by Christine of Stitch All the Things. And it's absolutely gorgeous. And it is color 1089. Yep. So yeah, so I think that's going to be my focus piece for this week. And if I get it done before Friday, then I will just go on and switch over to Sarah Spencer and see if I can make some good progress on her. Unless, of course, I do this other new start and then I might work on it. We'll see. So those are plans for the coming week. So that brings me to haul. And we're already 45 minutes in and this haul's going to take a while. This is probably going to end up being an 1.5-hour video. So, you know, it's been 15 months. Why not, right? So the first thing I will share, I showed when I was showing you Jane Marshall, the cute little vintage sewing girl needle minder I'd gotten. That came from Mad for Minders. They are an Etsy shop and they are also local to me. They're in the same county where I live, and so I love being able to support a local business, even though it's through Etsy. And they have amazing needle minders, and they have them in all kinds of styles. They've got some enamel, they've got some resin, they've got wood. So, I mean, they have something for everyone, depending on what your favorite needle minder style is. And that's all they did initially when I first discovered them. I don't know, gosh. Couple 3 years ago maybe. That's all they did. They have since expanded and they sell charts and I'm pretty sure they have some fabrics and stuff now too. So they are becoming more of a full service online shop. So, but anyway, so when I ordered the Vintage Sewing Girl, I also ordered these. How cute are those? I mean, come on. That's awesome. I do have plans for the Frida. I purchased the Dreaming Frida design from Barbara Anna. So that's what she'll be for. And I have no idea when I'm going to use this cat, but I mean, come on. How could I not get that cat? It's everything. So those are from Mad for Minders. I also ordered a few from Kim's Needle Minders. She is also on Etsy. I don't think that's really focusing very well, but just search on Etsy for Kim's Needle Minders, Kims Needle Minders, and she's Kim's Needle Minders on Instagram. Mad for Minders, they don't have I don't believe they have an Instagram account, but Avika, who is one of the ladies at Mad for Minders, she is on Instagram as Wonderland Stitcher, I believe is her name. Anyway, so these are the ones I got from Kim, and they are also wooden. I prefer the wooden needle minders. I used to prefer the resin, and I have a lot of resin needle minders. But then I kind of fell in love with the wooden ones, and so that's what I've been buying lately. Yep. Super cute. So that is my needle minder haul. Then I've got a few kind of miscellaneous things that I've purchased recently. This is a piece of 40 count flax. I purchased it for a project, which I'll show you in a few minutes, and then I ended up deciding I didn't like it with that particular, when I did the floss toss, I didn't particularly like the combination. So this is now just in my stash. I don't know yet what I'm going to stitch with this, but I love this. And I'm pretty sure after I got it, I saw it at Joann's because I was picking up some DMC for another project, and I saw this in the, I forget what they call this line, but it's like they're variegated flosses. And I fell in love with it, and I'm pretty sure in looking at it now that this is the same fiber I'm using for my ink circles, Cirque du Circles. Pretty sure it's the same. This is 4000 is the color number. But I love that kind of brown to blue, grungy kind of look. So pretty. I have two Belsois silks in Blue Lagoon. And these, I actually ended up, I bought this for, I don't know why I'm leaning in so close to the camera. Sorry about that. I bought this thinking I might use it for Quaker Snowflakes from Hello from Liz Matthews. And I couldn't decide if I wanted this color or what's indigo, I think is the other one, which I did end up deciding on that one, which I'll show you when I get to those. But anyway, so I bought both of them, not sure which one I would want to use. And so now I've got these, the ones I didn't choose to use, that will just go into my stash. And then the last thing I bought, I got this from a local needlework store. She doesn't have a whole lot of cross stitch. It's Needle Points Limited in Garden Grove, California. She is mostly a needlepoint store, but she does have some, we'll call them historically vintage cross stitch charts that she's had for years that just haven't sold. So she still has them out that you can purchase. But I didn't see anything that was recent. I mean, like even within the past 5 years, because she had to downsize to a smaller location, and she does better with her needlepoint sales than she does cross stitch. She's always been a predominantly needlepoint store, hence the name Needlepoints Limited. But it's a great place to go when I need to pick up just like one or two random fibers, because a lot of needlepoint work uses a lot of the same fibers that we as cross stitchers use. So I can go there and I can get Weeks and Gentle Arts and MPIs and Soie and that sort of thing. But anyway, so when I was in there, I asked her, by any chance, do you have any Dovo scissors left? And she did. And if you are not aware, Dovo is no longer making embroidery scissors, which makes me very, very sad because I love Dovo scissors. I've got, 7 or 8 pair now, maybe, counting this new one. But anyway, so yeah, I got this, let's see. It gives you a better look at them. And I had someone ask me on my blog when I posted a picture on my blog, like, what is it you like about Dovo scissors so much? Because I will say they're not cheap. This pair was $39. But the mechanism of them is just so smooth. It's just like, I don't know, cutting through butter. I mean, it's just, they're made in Germany, and you always hear like German precision and German engineering. Yeah, there's a reason people say that and use that term, because these are amazing. So it has taken everything in me to not use these, because I knew already when I went to the local store that I was planning to return to FlossTube. And so I didn't want to use them until I did the video. So yay, now I can use them. So that is everything that kind of falls in the miscellaneous haul category. Set that aside. So now we will get to things I purchased at Expo. And the first one, which I did fully kit with the called for fabric, is the Blue Flower Tudor Bee. Now I will say I did the DMC conversion that's available in the chart, and I kind of regret now not doing the MPIs. But before I start this, I may very well order the MPI silks. I can't decide. I mean, the colors, the DMC are beautiful, and they look great on the fabric. So I don't know. I'll decide. But this is the fabric. It is fennel seed. I believe it's color and cotton. Let's see. Yes, color and cotton. 40 count fennel seed. So that was the first one. The next one is also Blue Flower. And on this one, I did not get fabric, but I did get all the called for DMC. And this is Wildflowers. Love that. Let me crank it around a little so you can see it straight. And it calls for 40 count mallow. And I am currently out of mallow in my stash. So I'm thinking I might stitch this on 40 count Verdal Vanilla Latte. Oh, I forgot to tell you that. When I was going through talking about projects, that is what I am actually using for the bee sampler, is Vanilla Latte Verdal, which is a 40 count even weave, if you're not familiar with Verdal. It's 100% cotton, so it's really nice and soft and lovely to work with. So I might use this for Wildflowers, because I have almost still a full yard. Other than cutting this piece out, I have a full yard of it. And just as a fun fact, I actually named that fabric from the Stitch Me. She had a contest on her Facebook group to name her new fabric. And this was last year, year before last maybe. And I suggested vanilla latte, and that's what she ended up naming it. So I'm thinking, though, that would look nice for this. The vanilla latte is a bit more yellow than the mallow, so I'll have to see. Mallow is a very inexpensive linen, so I might just end up ordering some from 123 Stitch and doing it in the call for. We'll see. So that is Wildflowers. Next up, this I bought the chart and the call for fibers. This is Lighting the Way by Silver Creek Samplers. It calls for light, spooky, hollow 18 count Ada from Fabric Flare. I'm not a huge fan of Fabric Flare fabrics. Sorry. So I might get a piece of Vintage Stormy Night, I think is what it's called, from Zweigart. I might get a piece of that for this. And I doubt I will get Ada. I will probably get a 32 count Lugana. Yep. And again, I got all the called for DMCs. Next up, this one, I don't know what I'll ever do with it, but it was just so lovely, snarky, and I am very much a snarky girl in real life. It's called Butter Believe It, and I just had to get it. It says, I have a lot to say. Maybe you should get popcorn. Yeah. And so I also got all the called for fibers, which is a combination of DMC, Weeks, and Gentle Arts. And this calls for fog, 18 count Aida from Picture This Plus. I think the fabric is great. I will probably get the fog, but I will get it in a linen or even weave instead of the Aida. I don't have anything against Aida. It's just not my preferred fabric. I have quite a bit of Aida in my stash from Stitch Me. Next up is, I talked about earlier that my best friend and I are doing the Sally Spencer as a SAL. And so our next SAL that we are planning, this was also an Expo purchase, is Blessings Be More from Erica Michaels. And I got this fully kitted. When you see me sharing things like this that I have fully kitted, they are generally from Dreama at Needlecraft Corner. She puts together packages and she gives you a little bit of a break. So you can see on this, retail value was $49.50 and I paid $42 by getting it all kitted through her. So yeah, so that will be the next SAL Tracy and I do. And I believe, yeah, this has fabric for both pieces in Dreama's package. Okay, so that takes care of all the Expo stuff. Now we'll go into other things, just random purchases I have made. First up is Stitchy Stars from Fat Quarter Shop. This was by Lori Holt. I got it at Fat Quarter Shop. Yep. And it calls for oatmeal 25 count Lugana. But I picked up a piece of wheat Lugana. This is from Zygarde. And I got that at Fat Quarter Shop. And I picked up their thread pack, which is Weeks Dye Works. And it has it finished on this really cool board. And they actually gave you the information on the chart that it's an 18-inch whitewashed wood rectangle plaque by Art Minds from Michaels. And they gave the SKU for it and everything. And so I went and bought that so that when I finish stitching it, I have the finishing piece. And amazingly, this was only $5.99 and I got, oh boy, I just really showed that tooth gap. Woo, sorry about that. I got 20% off that price. So yeah, how are you going to beat that? And it's got this cute little jute hanger. So that is Stitchy Stars. And I totally got sucked into that one watching Liz. I think she's Elizabeth Ann Cancraft on FlossTube and Instagram. Yeah, that's how I got sucked into that one. Although I've loved watching Kimberly work on it as well from Fat Quarter Shop, FQSX Stitch on FlossTube and Instagram. Okay, this next one is kind of a crazy purchase. I bought a book, a quilting book for one cross stitch pattern that's in it. I don't quilt. Did I mention that? The book is the Bonnie and Camille Quilt Bee book. And this quilt that's on the cover, they actually charted it for cross stitch and included it as a bonus in the book. And after I bought the book, I saw someone asked Kimberly on Instagram if it was possible to buy just the cross stitch chart. And she said they are working on hopefully getting the chart available as a standalone purchase in a couple of months. Oh well, I had already bought the book. and I'm fine with it. There are a couple of cute projects that are not quilts, but they are quilted projects that I might give a try at some point. We'll see. I'm looking for the picture of the, okay, here's the picture of the sampler. This is called the Shine On Sampler. And there are a lot of people stitching on this right now. There's a Sal. I know Christy, Java Girl Stitches, is working on it. I believe Denise at Goose is working on it. Rika, House of Stitch and Stash, I believe she might be working on it. Obviously, Kimberly is working on it. So yeah, I kept seeing this pop up in my feed, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I want to stitch that. And again, I don't know why I'm not a quilter, but this rainbow square right there and this bee, they just got me. And I didn't talk about it when I was showing my bee sampler, but the name Melissa, which is my name, is derived from the Greek word for bee. So I have a love of all things bees. And so yeah, that's a surefire way to get me sucked in. So the fabric I picked up for this is some 36 count even weave. And this is fabric flare, but it's not one of the printed ones. And I think that's what I don't like about the fabric flare. And even though I know the Zweigart Vintage Stormy Sky is also printed, it's softer. I think the fabric flare ones just feel a little stiff to me, the way they print them. But anyway, this is a white 36 count even weave. I decided to give it a try to see what I think of it. It is a blend. It is, I looked it up online. I think it's a 50-50 cotton rayon. So it certainly has more of a synthetic feel than a 36 count linen. And even more than like a Lugana. I mean, it's just their way they blend it. So, but it's not bad. We'll see once I start stitching on it. And then I bought the Cosmo thread pack from Fat Quarter Shop. They have a DMC one as well, but I've always wanted to try the Cosmo threads. So this seemed like a good excuse, and I am just living for this color. It's everything. It is called Light Aqua. So yeah. So that is Shine On. Oh my goodness, I'm already at 1 hour and 5 minutes. Oops. It'll probably be less than that for you guys because I'm going to cut some stuff out where I was coughing and sneezing. But yeah, okay. So this next thing that I purchased and kitted up, this is, I've got 2 charts in here actually, so let me divide them. One is the Spring Bunny Biscornu. This is from Faye Walsh of Little Dove Designs. And she's doing this series of seasonal Biscornu. And then the Summer Bee Biscornu. And this is the one I'm actually going to be starting. I haven't put my fabric in here yet, but I've got all the called for fibers. Sherry from Colorado Craft Co. I think that's her name. I'll have it linked below. She is starting a virtual summer stitch camp or stitch summer camp, cross stitch camp. I don't remember exactly yet what it's called, but I'm planning to participate. And so it's going to run 3 months from June to August. And each month has a different theme. And the theme for June is stitch on something inspired by someone else or something else. And so the premise of these is you pick a project that you will start and finish within that month. So obviously for me, since I work on a lot of things, it had to be something small. And a Biscornu fits perfectly for that. And I was inspired to stitch a Biscornu by Barbara, Raspberry Stitcher, who I talked about earlier. She is the host for the Jessie Watson Autism Sal. But she recently finished her first Biscornu. I believe it was her first. And it was the Brown Bird Biscornu by Heartstring Samplery, Beth Twist. So when I saw her finish, and now if it weren't that this had to be a new start, I would have pulled out my Brown Bird Biscornu whip. But the premise for Cross Stitch Camp is it has to be something that is a new start. Now you do not have to FFO it during the month. The goal is to start and finish the stitching. So that is my goal. And I don't know if I'm going to stitch the back panel. My goal is just going to be to stitch the front panel because often I put fabric on the backs of my bisque cornu. So, yep. So that is going to be my June project. The theme for July is, I think, a new designer to you. And then August is a new technique or new fabric, I think. It's all detailed in her FlossTube. It's on her channel. It's FlossTube number 12 is where she talks about it. So, yeah, so I'm excited to be participating in that. There's going to be giveaways for people who are participating and prizes for those who do all 3 months that you could win. So, yeah. Okay, so this next one, when I printed it out, it's literally just the chart, so I can't hold it up. It is a piece from Jacob at Modern Folk Embroidery. He had a design he created for a Dutch stitching magazine. It's Border Blood or something like that. I don't speak Dutch. But anyway, I will put a picture right here of what it looks like. Isn't that pretty? I love charts with two facing birds. And so I was able to navigate through the magazine's website and figured out how to purchase just his chart. I didn't have to purchase the whole magazine. And so I kitted it up. And so I'm going to be doing it on 40 count alabaster linen using this lovely light blue soie d'Alger. This is color 1723. I didn't know how much it would take because there's literally no information on, well, in fact, I can show you just a tiny corner. Let's see if I can pull it in from the side here. There's not even it doesn't give you stitch counts. Nothing. There is no information. It is literally just the chart. So I wasn't sure how much I would need, so I bought 3 just to be safe. That's probably more than I will need. Since I'm doing it on 40 count, I'll probably only be using 1 strand. Well, I will only be using 1 strand. So 1 or definitely 2 probably would be enough, but I'm one of those who I would rather be safe than sorry. And better to have a random piece of soie d'Alger in my stash than not have enough, to finish the piece. Ooh, that one's fighting me. There we go. Okay, next up, I talked about this earlier. This is Quaker Snowflakes, which I bought the chart I think this was from 2020 market. Right before the world shut down. So I bought the chart immediately, but I had not kitted it up and I wanted to get it kitted up. So I'm also doing this piece on 40 count alabaster. And I talked about the Belle Soise earlier. Instead of the Blue Lagoon, I have decided to use the indigo. I think it's a little bit cooler of a blue, which seems winterier to me. And it had a little bit more variegation, which I liked. So that is the Belle Soie Indigo on 40 count alabaster. No idea yet when I'm going to start it, but okay. So I teased about the fact that there was a piece that I was tempted to start now during my Sampler Mania. And this is that piece. This is the Pandemic Sampler. This is a free design, amazingly enough, from Christy, Sarcy Girl. I hope I'm saying that right. It's SARCYGURL on Instagram. Make sure I'm saying it right. Yeah, it's Christy Stephenson. I absolutely love that. And she gives information in the chart for how to create the fabric she used. This is fabric she dyed herself, and she kind of gave the directions for how she did it. I have never dyed fabric, and so I ended up buying a piece of 40 count granite, which I think looks pretty similar. So I'm planning to stitch mine on that. And then I have all the called for DMC. And as I mentioned, this is a free chart, but she does ask that you make a donation. Let's see, I'm trying to see where she talks about that. Well, I thought she asked for a donation. I don't see anything on it here. But I did make a donation to my local Planned Parenthood. And maybe I got that impression because one of the things she says is, while stitching, try to think some important thoughts if you can. Your brain needs exercise too. And the person you are 20 years from now will thank you for putting some brain crunches in today. Racism, capitalism, feminism, fat activism, environmentalism, politics, and how these things intersect are all great things to think on. And so maybe that's where in my mind I needed to make a donation. And I have no problem that I did the donation. Christy obviously put a lot of hard work into this design, and I like that she called out things that are also important to me. And Planned Parenthood is very important to me. They provided me services when I was in my early 20s and didn't have health insurance, because back then you couldn't stay on your parents' insurance. I think, in fact, I was able to be on it as long as I was in college. Once you turned 18, the only way you could be on the insurance was if you were in school and living at home. And so I was able to be on that. Well, then, once I left college, I didn't have a job that provided insurance. I was doing contract work. And so I got my well woman services through Planned Parenthood. And so it's important to me that, they've lost a lot of their funding. And so that was an important cause to me. So I made a $25 donation to Planned Parenthood. So thank you, Christy. Okay, next up, as you may have noticed a trend, I love Quaker samplers. And so these are a couple that I kitted up. This is the Autumn is Coming Mini Quaker. This is from Stitches Through Years. Oh, Stitches Through the Years. I think it's just Stitches Through Years on Etsy. And so I kitted this one. And this is the one I had bought that flax linen for that I ended up deciding I didn't want to use. Instead, I am using platinum 40 count. And these are the threads, which are really, really pretty. These two are River Rock and Stepping Stone, and they look so similar to me. One might be slightly darker than the other, but they are so close. So that is the Autumn. And then next we have the Winter. And I was on Etsy yesterday, and I had a little notification that she has just released the spring. So she's clearly, I'm guessing, going to do all 4 seasons. This is Winter is Coming Mini Quaker. Look at that reindeer. So cute. And the fabric I ordered for this one, it showed in stock at the time I ordered, but then 123 emailed me that it was on back order. And it is also scheduled to arrive tomorrow. And I chose 40 count woodland linen. And these are the fibers. Although now that I know that this is it looks like it's going to be a seasonal series, I might see how these look on platinum and maybe just do all of them. I'm worried this color would get lost on platinum though. Because it would be nice, I was thinking it would be nice to have them all the same fabric and just swap them out throughout the year. But you know, they're not going to be hanging together, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, I'll just stick with the woodland because I think it's going to look amazing on woodland. And I haven't yet, but I will be picking up the spring one. She doesn't have the summer one yet, but I'll get it as well. I love the fact that they're mini Quakers. You know, that's a break from all my big projects, doing a smaller Quaker. Okay, this next one is also from Stitches Through Years, and this was a freebie chart. I was trying to think where I got it, if it was on her blog or if I saw it on Instagram. I don't remember. Anyway, this is called The Joy of Winter. It's kind of hard to see because it's not a straight on shot, but you know, it's a house with deer, you know, kind of thing. And this designer, by the way, is from Russia. Her name is Lana Linskaya. I hope I'm saying that right. My apologies if I'm not. And I am doing this one with the called for DMC and the called for fabric, which is 45 count foxtail millet legacy linen, which is really, really pretty. This will be my first time stitching on this count of fabric. So we'll see. I do have I can't show it today because it's not here yet, but it will be coming soon, hopefully, an order in with the attic. And on that order, I kitted up a sampler, and then I also ordered some fabrics. I ordered 2 pieces of Seraphim, which I'm excited to try. I've never tried Seraphim, and I hear a lot of my favorite sampler stitchers raving about it. I got a piece of 46 count. I was trying to remember what it was called. Cafe LA, maybe? Yeah, I can't remember which particular color I got. Anyway, I got a piece of 46 and a piece of 56. I'm not sure I'll be able to see. After looking at the 45 count through my readers, I have to wear 2.5 readers to stitch on the higher count fabrics. I'm not sure I'll be able to see 56. I might have to have readers and magnification, so we'll see. Okay, so this next one, I do not have a chart or anything I can show you, but I have my fibers. I don't have my fabric yet because I'm waiting to see what it calls for. But this is for the Fat Quarter Shop Bats and Booze freebie, which will be coming soon. I just created my own little label so I would remember what this is for. But they did provide, or they even show on their website, they have a weeks, I think it's weeks option available, or they list the DMCs. And I already had all these DMCs, so I just, pulled them from my stash. It's DMC 04, Blanc, 721, and 310. So, yep, so that will be for the Bats and Booze freebie. Oh, I take that back. That's why this is in the haul portion. I had to buy the 04. I did not have that's one of the new colors. I didn't have it, so I had to buy that one. That's why it's in haul. Okay, this next one. This is a Doreen Jones freebie. Take life one stitch at a time. And if you've ever noticed on my blog, and the header on my blog and the header here on my YouTube channel says Stitcher Mel and the subheading is Taking Life One Stitch at a Time. So I thought, oh, this is perfect. I need to stitch this. Now hers has this cute little sewing machine charm on it. I couldn't find anything like that when I was at Joann. So, and I'm just going to stitch this on white fabric. I don't have it in the bag yet, but I've got plenty of white in my stash. So these are they called 4 colors. And what I'm going to put in place of the charm is one of these cute little teal buttons, which I think match pretty nicely with the DMC. So that is one stitch at a time, and I got this from her Facebook page. She releases a new freebie on her Facebook every Friday, I believe it is. But you can go back, I mean, in her media section, she's got all of her freebies for, I don't know how many years she's been doing it, but in fact, the next one is a Doreen Jones freebie. This one is, if I can get it out, the Garden Stitch Along. How cute is that? Look at the bunny. And of course, it's got a bee. And if you didn't want to stitch the whole thing, you could certainly stitch any of these littles for smalls. But yeah, I thought it was really pretty. And again, I don't have fabric in this one yet. Probably going to do it like Vintage Country Mocha or something like that. But all the called for DMCs. So that is Garden Stitch Along. Next up, I don't have fabric or fibers in this one yet. I still need to pull things. Probably just going to stitch it on white or antique white, but this is a pattern from Benjamin Drew, Quiltify Design on Etsy. This is Quaker 9 Patch. How beautiful is that? Love it. I love the little alphabet in these diamonds in the center. So cute. And he mentioned in his description that, let's see if it's in here. Yeah, he said, so when designing Quaker samplers, I often have to adjust the size of a medallion in order to get the best fit. It occurred to me that I could adjust a selection of my favorite flower medallions. Oops, I'll hold this up as I'm talking. To make them all the same size to create a regular rather than a random pattern. So yeah, I love that. And of course, my grandmother was a quilter. My mom and sister are quilters, so I liked the 9 patch reference. I said the design includes the year 2019, as that was when he completed the design. And it has his initials, but he's got the alphabet and numbers included with the chart so that you can customize it. Oh, and it also has a little mini. I can't show it, but it does include a little mini chart as well if you want to stitch that. So yeah, so that is Quaker 9 Patch. This might be what I move to for the Quaker Zoom Sal at some point if I finish B sampler, or if I just decide I want to work on a different one. This might be a Quaker Zoom Sal start. Love that. And that was from Etsy. I don't know if I mentioned that. I got it on Etsy as a PDF. Okay, next up, this is from a new to me designer. This is Cherry Hill Stitchery on Etsy and on Instagram. How cute is that? And this piece is called Merry Christmas. And so I bought the chart on Etsy, and she is a PDF only designer. She does not do hard copies of her charts. If you don't want to buy directly from her Etsy shop, I believe these are available as PDFs on the Fat Quarter shop as well. So I kitted mine up. It called for 30 count portobello linen. I got some taupe Lugana instead. And this is 32 count. And then they called for fibers, which is DMC 2 weeks. The 2 weeks are monkey grass and cayenne. And then the 3 DMCs. Oh, and it also has B5200. So it has 4 DMCs. I don't have that in the bag yet. I have a big cone of B5200. So I just need to, pull some off of there and put onto a thread drop. So I'm very excited about this. I definitely want to get this started. It's so stinking cute. And I don't do a lot of cute cross stitch these days, but I found a few that really appealed to me. So, okay, this I also, when I was talking earlier about my local needlepoint store carrying some older cross-stitch charts and stuff. While I was in there, I stumbled across this. This is the Summer's Last Rose by Blackbird Designs. This was the third pattern of the Loose Feathers 2012 series. And so, yeah, $17.25. This type of book these days would probably be 20 plus. So, yeah, so sometimes you could score a few things. This was the only Blackbird book she had that I didn't already own. So, yeah. There's lots of really pretty patterns in it. Yep. There was one in particular. Let me see if I can find it real quick that I liked. Oh, I can't show it there because the chart's there. Well, I can show it here. It's this little house. Right there. I love stitching houses. So yeah, so that's Summer's Last Rose. We're getting close, people. Nearly an hour. I told you it'd probably be an hour and a half. So I've got a chart and a project back here to show. They are not connected though. So the chart is from Jan Hicks. It is, make sure I say it right, Flora Graphica. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. I love it, love it, love it. And I don't know that my printout is the greatest if you can really see it, but you can, you know, find it on her YouTube and on her Instagram. So this chart is stitched on 40 count linen from XG Design in the old linen color. And it uses overdyed flosses. Let's see if I can find a floss list to see what it's using. I'm fairly certain Vicki Clayton has a conversion for it. So it's Classic Colorworks and Weeks. Oh, she does have a DMC conversion, and she tells you exactly how many skeins of it you're going to need, which is nice. Oh, I guess I can show you this because there's my chart on it. So yeah, really nice. I love that she includes all that information. And then on the next page, she has a little information about the sizes. It will be on a variety of counts of fabric, which is really nice. So yeah, so I don't know when I'm going to get this started, but I absolutely love it. Oh, here's maybe some, you can get a better idea of some of the motifs on this one. So pretty. But yeah, like I said, I'm fairly certain Vicki Clayton, I saw she announced that she has a silk pack for it. So, but anyway, so the project bag, I can't remember the lady's name off the top of my head that I bought it from. King Island something or other on Etsy. Love this. And if you look really close, you'll see it's got little bunnies. And in addition to bees, I also love bunnies. I even have a bunny tattoo. So, yep. And I can't remember the brand of fabric this is. It's not Tula. But I think it starts with a T. Anyway, I thought that was really pretty. And when I saw it was her last one, I grabbed it. I mean, and the other thing, the pink polka dot. Love polka dots. Polka dots is probably my favorite kind of graphical pattern that calls to me. I love a good polka. Okay, so next is a little bit of haul from Joanne. Let me pull this up. These are just some buttons I got to go in the centers of the biscornus I showed you earlier. This is some Calico Keepsakes fabric. It's just a good neutral that I thought I could use for finishing. There's a little bit over a yard here. I think it was like 1 yard and 9 inches or something because it was the end of a bolt. And so I just bought all of it. And then I want to try my hand at making a project bag. I have never made a project bag, and Even though I own a sewing machine, I haven't sewn in years. So, but Elizabeth Ann can craft or can stitch. I don't remember now what her channel name is, but I'll link it below. She has 2 wonderful project bag tutorials on her channel. One for just a fabric, all fabric bag, and one for a vinyl front bag. Now, vinyl front bags are definitely my preference, as I just showed you the one with the polka dots. But I thought it might be easier, since I am new to this, to try and do an all fabric bag first before I venture into trying to deal with vinyl. So, and I'm sure I have way more fabric than I need, but I bought a yard of each of these. So this is going to be my outside fabric. How cute is that? I love those little flag mailboxes with the bird and the daisies. So cute. And like I say, I've got plenty of it. I bought a lot. And then for the inside of the bag, I just bought something that in my mind reads as more of as a solid, even though it's clearly a very busy pattern. But because it's kind of a monochromatic tone on tone, I feel like it reads more as a solid. And so that's going to be my bag. Maybe I'll do it like, not sideways, Melissa. Have it be like that. And then I bought a red zipper. Yeah. So we'll see. Don't know when I'll get around to actually trying it, but I'm going to give it a go. See if I can make one. Okay. And so I think that's it. I've gone through all that haul. Showed you all my whips and finishes and plans for the rest of May. Showed you my needle minders. Yeah, guys, I think that's it. This is right at an hour and a half, which is what I predicted. So if you have stuck it out and watched all this, thank you so much. I appreciate it greatly. I haven't decided yet what frequency I'm going to be doing these videos. In the past, when I did my first 20 videos, I went about every couple of weeks when I was doing it regularly. I did have a couple of times I had breaks that were much longer. Work would be busy, life would be busy, and I just didn't feel up to recording. But now that I'm working from home, that shouldn't be quite so bad because I don't have the added stress of all that commuting every week. And that was a big factor in recording FlossTube videos. When I spent, 10 plus hours a week sometimes commuting, I didn't want to have to do anything on the weekend other than just sit, watch TV, and stitch. But, now I have reclaimed all that time, and not just the time, but just the stress related to commuting that in, Southern California traffic for that long each week. So I'm feeling much better in life overall. So I'm stitching a lot more. So I'm thinking I might try weekly to see how it goes. We'll see. I don't know. In the past, I also would always film my FlossTube videos in my craft room. As you can see, I'm clearly not in my craft room. I am in my dining room. Well, it's not a dining room per se because I have an open floor plan. So it's in this main living area. And the reason I did that is because my craft room is a disaster right now, because I am moving out all the paper crafting stuff. A lot of it I'm going to be donating to schools or charitable organizations. A friend recommended the local Ronald McDonald House because they are always looking for crafty type things for the siblings, who are staying there when their sibling is in the hospital being cared for. So I need to call them and look into that. Yeah, and a lot of it I'm going to destash in paper crafting, destash groups on Facebook. But yeah, so until I can get all that done and get the chaos contained, I won't be in my craft room. Eventually, I will be doing these again in my craft room because the lighting is so much better in there because my desk it sits right at a huge window. So the lighting is wonderful. Like today I'm having to use artificial lighting and it causes the big shadows and stuff, which I'm not necessarily a fan of, but it is what it is. So yeah, but I may try weekly for now. We'll see how it goes. I will definitely try and do one again. It may not be next weekend, but maybe on Tuesday, which would be June 1st, to recap my Stitch Maynia. We'll see. Or maybe I just wait and do that one on Friday the following week because I have that day off. So that would be June 4th, I think. Yeah, is my day off. So we'll see. Just subscribe and when I'm back, I'm back. How's that? So thanks so much again for stopping by. I'm glad to be back on FlossTube. I actually have missed it, but I just wasn't in a place where I was ready to start doing it again. So, but yeah, now I am. And so here I am. Yay. Thanks a lot, guys. And I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.